America, or wherever it is that you may be watching from, and welcome into the latest edition of the OH.Report video podcast, where me and my small team of OH reporters, we chop it up kind of like some underground mechanics fresh off of a big grift. And by we, I mean me, my boy Big Mac over here, G-Man and Storm also hanging out, a bunch of big NFL fans. Only Garrett's team won yesterday, so I imagine coming in today, you got to feel like a big shot sitting at this set with a whole bunch of losers.
Of course I do. You know, I don't get a lot of respect here being a Vikings fan. We're 3-1 though, best record here on the panel, so I'll take it.
And Travis, I watched football with you yesterday. The Kenny Pickett era is now officially underway in Pittsburgh. You happy with what you saw yesterday?
Pick being the key part of that last name. 3 interceptions. The wide receivers didn't help him out, but he brought a spark in that second half. But the defense, well, they didn't pick up on that spark because they're absolute trash right now without T.J. Watt. And with the schedule coming up for both of us, both of our teams, it's not looking good. That record of straight 500 seasons for Mike Tomlin may be coming to an end. And
looks like it's in jeopardy.
Not if he quits.
Why would he?
To save the streak.
Save
the streak if you quit.
That was a curveball out of left field, but hey, good to be back with you guys. You know, I've been out on the road the last few weeks, out on those country roads getting interviews, but
yeah, well, we'll see if it's good to have them back, right, fellas?
Probably not.
We'll talk about it amongst ourselves after the show. No need to talk about the Browns or the Lions from yesterday, but Storm, I see NBA's back, baby. So some preseason action, huh?
Yeah, the NBA is definitely back. Just got charged for my first League Pass subscription fee, so
already?
It's definitely back. Yeah, so preseason, we're getting close, man. I'm excited.
Well, I know that you're always paying attention to the NBA, and here on the OH.Report, we're always paying attention to some of the best performances that we see from high school football week in and week out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and set it up for the nominees for Friday Night Phenoms from week number 7. The best individual performances from week number 7 of the high school football season coming at you right here and now. We begin down in Howard, Ohio, as Northmore's Hunter Folk nearly caged the Bulldogs all by himself, hauling in 7 receptions for a cool $188 while getting into the end zone not once, not even twice, but 3 times, using his blazing speed to get beyond the East Knox secondary.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just 7 catches for almost 200 yards, a ton of yak, and a lot of spectacular athletic plays to bring down these passes. I mean, look at that. Just goes down the sideline. What a performance from Hunter Folk.
Your number 2 nominee is a guy who single-footedly scored 9 points with his rock-solid leg. It's none other than that TY Tiger kicker Sean Putt, who would put 2 field goals from past the 25-yard line and 3 extra points against the Ashland Arrows on Friday night, going a perfect 5 for 5 in the kicking game.
What do I always say, Brian? Kickers are people, too. That's for the brand. You and I have tried to kick extra points and field goals. It's not that easy, but this kid who has over 100 points in his career makes it look simple.
I believe it's the first kicker on our nominee list this season. Our third nominee going to come at you from Buckeye Central, and it's quarterback Derek Dean, who had an impressive evening through the air while in style, sporting the camo uniforms for Military Appreciation Night. The Bucks did not earn the win, but Dean aired it out for 230 yards and 2 tutties, completing 26 of his 40 attempts on the night.
Dean wasn't able to get the win, but still able to cash in on some money balls from way downtown. Dean, a standout for the Bucks this season, leading the squad under center.
Take a look at one more highlight here. Dropping dimes in the bucket, Derek Dean, making our countdown yet again. So is this gentleman, Galleon sophomore quarterback Braxton Prosser, who has been on an absolute tear this October. I mean, so what if it's only been 1 game? These numbers look like a month's worth for your average dude. This youngster, super efficient in the passing game with just as many touchdowns as he had incompletions on the night. And oh, by the way, how about over 130 yards on the ground and 2 more scores? He is a serious threat all over the field and also a threat to be your nominee for Phenom this week. Choo-choo! All aboard the Dane train. Highlands junior running back showed off and showed out for his second 300-plus yard rushing performance in as many weeks as the Fighting Scots ran all over Shelby 44-20. Nauman cashed in for 5 touchdowns on 308 rushing yards, and he's all but wrapped up the crown to be the area's rushing leader with this night.
He already had a 100-plus yard lead over second place. This is just easily going to boost that lead coming into the stat leaders coming up this week. He is just a tank and is one of the reasons why the Highland Fighting Scots have a chance of winning an MOAC championship.
Maybe the toughest dude to bring down in all of North Central Ohio. Just runs with so much ferocity and also some agility. Our final nominee this week is Lima Central Catholic's Carson Parker, who was parking himself in the Lucas end zone at will on Friday night with a 4-pack of scores to go along with mammoth yardage numbers. Over 400 combined yards to be exact, with 240 of those coming in the ground game. And unofficially, at least 100 of those came with at least one Cubs defender draped all over his back. It was truly a superhuman performance by this junior who basically single-handedly carried LCC to a victory over Lucas. There he is, just carrying bodies at will. Those are your Friday Night Phenom nominees from week number 7. Now it's up to you, the fans, to decide who had the most impressive performance of the week. And if you drop in our comment section right now on the Facebook and the YouTube, it counts for double of the votes. And that actually decided one of the outcomes last week, didn't it, G-Man?
It did. I believe they were like 20 votes behind, and they ended up getting 32 out of it. So, yeah, if you vote on the podcast, it's a W. So.
Yeah, it's big time if you get in your votes right now. So those are your Friday Night Phenoms. What about the best plays of the week? Let's just dive right in to the top plays right now. Our opening nominee comes to us from Chet Looney Stadium as Northmore's Bo Landon about to posterize the East Knox defense for a big touchdown grab, but he wasn't even done impressing yet. As you're going to see in the replay coming up, after making the catch, he throws down the double toe touch in the back of the end zone to complete the score.
Yeah, not just high school, not even college, but that's an NFL-style catch. The quarterback with the confidence just floating that one up there, and Bo Landon going up there doing the rest.
There he is, not 1 but 2 feet in the back of the end zone. Your second nominee is Mansfield senior Tiger Lala Owens, who's about to make you say ooh la la as he's going to race in between 2 flying arrows, circus juggling act, snags it, secures the rock, and then runs 48 yards with the interception return. This was a huge play to turn the tide for the senior high defense in a 27-20 victory at Ashland Community Stadium to keep the Tigers in the OCC title race. And you see it there, the big mitts, he squeezes it, catches a big block, and then Lala off to the races into the end zone. Coming in at number 3 is Crestview DB Caden Cunningham, who's going to put the clamps on the wideout before climbing the ladder and then reels in this outstanding interception. Cunningham's leaping pick would help Crestview continue their dominance as they remain unbeaten at a perfect 7-0.
Caden Cunningham showing off the vertical here and clamping up the SC wide receivers all night long. They improve to continue to dominate the FC all year long.
Entering our top plays at nominee number 4 is Buckeye Central's Derek Dean, who drops a 35-yard dime coming up here in between not 1, not even 2, but 3 Winford defenders. Connects with Trevor Kurgis, who weaves his way into the end zone for a big Bucks touchdown.
You couldn't have asked for a better throw from a quarterback. Literally drops the dime in the only place the wide receiver can come down for the catch.
Moving on now, at the number 5 spot, it's Clear Fork Colts' Milo Burkholter. You're going to see him break through the defense and completely just obliterate the Pleasant quarterback Owen Lowry. Now, Lowry was rushed and punished all night long, but this monster hit by Burkholder definitely was the jalapeno in the popper. Each week, we get asked, where's the defensive plays? Well, here's another huge one.
Just a beautiful move by him on the stunt first off, gets around the tackle, and then just finishes things off by going right through the quarterback. What a play by the defender. Yikes.
That's Nightmare Alley right there for the QB. Number 6 going to take us out to Galleon, where Braxton Prosser is going to carve through the defense like a hot knife through some butter, slicing and dicing, leaving Ontario ankles in his wake as he take a nice stroll 36 yards into the end zone. As we're going to take another look here, he even goes ghost, disappears for a second before reappearing 36 yards downfield, scorching Ontario on his way to a big W.
Yeah, Galleon playing some good football right now, and Braxton Prosser definitely helping him out with this 36-yard scamper into the zone.
And now on to our final nominee. It's going to take us to Bob Wine Field, where Billy Bork going to show off the toe drag swag while also mossing the defender. The Cubs draped all over Burke, but it didn't matter as he shows off the full-grown man strength and finesse too. This was a huge play as well on the final snap of the first half to help send LCC home with a 26-23 victory.
Put that boy on a poster and was able to control the catch as well, drag the toes, and skirt out of Bob Wine Field with a dub.
Well, help us decide who made the top play from Week 7 of the high school football season by diving into the comment section below. And I see you guys are capitalizing right now on the double dip with the voting, so kudos to you. Do me a favor, though, because they're rolling in, and you just got the numbers. I just was talking with the boys here and thinking that, the top plays in the Phenoms, we kind of need to know, since we're doing both of them here on the podcast, what specifically that you're voting for. So if you're going to put, number 5, go ahead and put the kid's name as well. Might help us out.
That helps.
Would definitely work.
That helps G-Man over here when he compiles all these. We want to get it as accurate as possible.
All right, gentlemen, I want to talk a little bit more about some high school football here to keep the podcast flowing, but I want to talk about a couple of teams that aren't featured on the list and haven't been for the last few weeks because it's just not going that swell for them. And I don't want to throw too much shade on these guys, but we want to talk about the Lucas Cubs, who are below 500 right now for the first time in October in over a decade, and the Madison Rams, who are 0-for heading into Week 8. So knowing what you know about both these teams heading into the season and what we know now, who would you guys say is the bigger disappointment? Is it Lucas being 3-4 right now heading into Week 8? Or is it Madison with their brand new coaching staff and a new spark, a new life, and still sitting with a big goose egg in the win column? G-Man, you've seen both of these teams. What do you think?
I think it's Lucas. I think, Coach Valentine, he's the coach that's going to be able to turn around if anybody's going to be able to do it. But it's not going to happen overnight. And I picked them to upset Shelby in that Week 1 game. They were close.
So close.
Almost able to get it done. But no, I didn't think they were going to go out and win, 7-8 games. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight for Madison. It's going to have to be, instilled, and the culture's got to change completely. They got to be able to get guys to come out and play. But for Lucas, now I know they lost a ton of seniors, but they do that so much that I don't think that they're an awful team. I think they can compete with, some tougher teams in the area. We've seen that. They played the likes of Mogador, and they probably should have won that game. We were both at that one. Turned it over a couple times in the fourth quarter. Probably should have walked out of that one with a win. But for Lucas, I think they'll still make the playoffs, and they'll still do some damage in there. But I would expect it maybe more closer to, 7-3. But looking like right now that's not going to happen. So I guess we'll see. They've had a really tough schedule this season. So I guess you got to say that too. Mention that for the Cubs. But I think maybe just a couple more wins is what I expected out of Lucas.
The Cubs' 4 losses against teams with a combined 23-4 record right now at this point, including a D4, a D6, and a D7. So it's been really challenging so far for a team that obviously they live in a community of about 800 people, so there's not a huge sample size to get from if you're the Cubs. But are they a bigger disappointment to you, Storm, than Madison, who's at 0-7, and they were competitive early, have not been for the last month?
Well, I'd say yeah, and I'm going to drop some wisdom like I did at our game. You remember, G-Man? You remember what I said?
No, I don't.
You don't remember?
Remind us.
You can give a man a peanut, but you can't expect a farm the next day, man.
No.
When you replace your head coach, you can't expect success that next year or that same year. It's just not how it works. It takes a while to build a system and build a culture, especially, with Madison's, history. They've been below average, to say the least, for a long time. So, it's going to take a while for them to instill a winning culture over there. For Lucas, it's like the complete opposite. Like, they've had a winning culture, and now it's just gone. And they always have such high expectations that pretty much anything short of perfection for Lucas is like a disappointment. And they're sitting at below 500, and I couldn't tell you, I don't think in any of my years of covering high school sports they've ever been 500. So
No.
I would say it's got to be Lucas.
Yeah, this is the first time Lucas has lost 3 games in a row since 2013. You guys were still in middle school, I think, right? Just some
13.
babies in the game. So take that into consideration, Trav, and then think about this. Since the start of the 2019 season, you know how many games Madison's won?
None.
One. They beat Mansfield Senior in that fluke, strange game in 2020 that happened after the playoffs where you could just go ahead and schedule, and they're like, you know what, we got the rivalry, let's go ahead and do it. I think it was like 13-7, like a rainy night. It was just odd all the way around. They're 1-35 since the start of 2019. So do you give the Rams a little bit more leeway because that? Or do you look at Lucas's schedule and say, this is pretty understandable. You're playing the likes of LCC, Clear Fork, and some other big-time programs like Mogador.
I rarely say this, but I can take what you two said into consideration when I'm thinking about this. Yeah. And Lucas always plays a great schedule, but we're so used to them coming up to those teams and knocking them off. They've had some tough losses where they had a chance to win at the end, but a missed extra point, a fumble here or there. But they still do play teams that are 2 or 3 divisions up ahead of them and win. They could win 1 or 2 more games and probably get a home game. That's how tough their schedule is, and that's how Lucas football is. But it is also disappointing because they're used to getting 8 wins against these teams for every year, and this year it's kind of coming back at them. Madison, they're 0-7, but they're a little bit more competitive, at least this year, losing by 3 to Shelby. They put up 28 points to a River Valley squad. They lost only 21-0 to New Philly, when in the last few years I think they get blown out 56-0 to a New Philadelphia squad. It's starting to come up. They still have to get the pieces together. So I guess I am kind of disappointed in Madison because I thought the hype was a little bit more. I thought they were going to win like 1 or 2 games. But that's what it is. They'll get there. I think they finally have the pieces together, the right situation. They just got to continue to build. Numbers are up as well too, so that's a good thing.
If I had to pick a team, I would just say Madison because there was so much hype. They were the sexy pick, I think. Hey, in the OCC, they're going to at least contend, maybe 5-5. It's Scott Valentine, right?
Yep.
Him and his staff, they're never below 500. So for me, kind of expected a little bit more out of the Rams, even given the fact that they had just won the 1 game over the last few seasons. And Lucas, man, it's just been such a tough schedule. But I seen, Lucas loses on homecoming night. They schedule a really tough game. I saw Lexington schedule West Holmes for homecoming. I thought that was an interesting decision. Yeah. Mohawk had Cary for their homecoming night. So I wonder how much thought actually goes into what you're going to do on homecoming in terms of your opponent, or if the ADs even calculate that, or if it just falls on a particular day. I digress. What I really want to talk about for homecoming, guys, is that myself and Jory, we got an opportunity to DJ for Mohawk, and I got to give it up to Warrior Nation. They didn't just party. They partied for 3 hours nonstop. I think very few people actually left early, and they were getting it on the dance floor. Saw a lot of wife beaters in the crowd because the boys were sweating that much. They were getting after it, and everybody was dancing. So I want to give not just 2, but I wish I had 4 hands to give them 4 thumbs up for how much fun these kids had all night long. It was easily the most fun that I have had DJing so far, and I've almost done, about double-digit events at this point. These guys were fantastic, and it got me thinking a little bit, too, about my past homecoming experiences. Way back in the day when I was a young guy, couldn't even grow any facial hair. I didn't have a dance as cool as this one, and so I wanted to ask you, gentlemen, do you have fond memories of your homecoming dances and nights? Because I never got to have a party quite as cool as what Mohawk had. So I got to tip my cap to them and see if you guys had an experience that looked quite like this.
Go, Trev.
You guys have had homecoming a lot more recently than me and Brian. So you guys. Crestview, how is it? How is it up at Crestview,
I wasn't a school
Cougar
dance
Country?
person, really.
No, I think I wish I was the way I was now, with not caring. But back then, I was like, dude, I don't want to dance. I can't dance. I'm looking like a weirdo. But we still had a lot of fun though. Even if you weren't, we didn't just mess around. Homecoming's a great time.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't, throwing the dance moves like these guys are, but I was there, I was present, and I was showing a little bit.
Sure.
The confidence wasn't up like it is now.
Okay. So. Yeah, kids didn't dance like this at my school. I remember there was a small clique of me and a few other dudes. Girls always would dance, but we were one of the few that would actually just go out there and tear it up. We didn't care, have no cares in the world. But you were homecoming king, weren't you, one year, G-Man? Prom king. Yeah. Okay. See, I was never voted in any of that stuff. But my one career highlight that I want to mention, because I'm allowed to, this is my 5 minutes. My only 2-touchdown game in my entire career at any level. We started wearing pads in 7th grade. It was on homecoming night my senior year.
Big time players make big time plays.
Nice.
Big time moments. So we took you down, Delta. We took you down big because my 2 tutties. That was a great time. All right. Well, Saturday night in Columbus, we saw Ohio State. You know, they ran their record to 5-0. You know, the Buckeyes are really, really good, and they crushed another conference opponent. But all of the talk, I felt like, was from the one play.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and roll the clip, and I want to get your opinion on this. So it's a 49-10 blowout. You see, that's the score. Still 9.5 minutes in the game. Boom! You see the punter, Jesse Mirko, he just takes advantage of a punt block situation in the fourth, 22-yard first down run, and he gets blasted 2 feet on the chalk, fellas. So check this out. So they're bringing everybody.
Yep,
They're all
that's
pushed
the
inside.
point right there.
It was not a designed call for him to run. He just took advantage of the play. And then what ends up happening, of course, you're going to see Greg Schiano eventually. He's going to make his way all the way over to the Ohio State sideline. And then he and Ryan Day, they have some back and forth. So my question for you, did you feel like this was bad sportsmanship on Ohio State's part for the kid go ahead and taking off? Or did you think that it was just kind of foul play by the Rutgers kid to take matters into his own hands, not like that they picked up a fourth down conversion and murder the Buckeye kid 3 feet out of bounds?
I think it was the right move, because why is Rutgers bringing the house down 49-10? He saw it coming. He saw an opening. And punters rarely get a chance to do stuff like that. Why not take it? He saw the opening. He saw a bunch of people trying to rush him as well. The Rutgers player, that was just frustration, and that was a dumb foul. He got ejected out of the game, so he's out for the first half of next week as well. And you take what you get, right? If there's a hole, the punter's running out to the right side anyway. He sees open space. Might as well get his highlight for the year.
Now, when I first saw the highlight clip of this on Sunday morning, because I didn't actually get to watch the game live, my first thought was Greg Schiano, of all people, wants to come over and talk to our coaching staff about unsportsmanlike stuff. Wasn't he the guy in the playoff game that was submarining some of the offensive players on a kneel-down situation at the end of the game? That's what I remember.
My thing is, aren't these grown men? Why you want to stop it? Stop
Pretty
it.
close.
Like who
Yep.
cares at this point? Like, these are adults. I mean, these guys are playing for the majority part, at least for Ohio State, playing for a job to try to get drafted. And who cares? If it's a problem, stop it then. I mean, seriously. Like, I don't get everybody being mad about this. Like, if it's a peewee game, I get it. But like, I mean, these dudes are fighting for jobs and fighting for their lives. Like, nah, this is nothing.
Maybe if
to
this
me,
was
at
a
least.
normal rush where they didn't bring 10 of 11 players, but they were bringing the house too. If they're going to bring the house, you're going to bring it right back.
I mean, that's like if say Ohio State was going to kick a field goal and they, sent all the guys to one side and the holder was like, you know what, let's take it off.
That's what the punter. It was the punter's decision too. It wasn't
it.
even a set fake. It was the punter saying, "I might as well run. I'm going this way anyways." One of those Australian kicks, but might as well just take it. It's open.
Yeah, I don't see the point of everybody being upset about it. I don't see that.
I don't get it either, man.
I said it
agree.
last night, or not
We were
last
talking
night,
about it the
Saturday
other day,
night,
yeah.
when we were together. I was like, why is this a big deal?
I think
Whatever.
Eric Will put it for me really good, and not even about this. This was on Friday before the play even happened. He was like, in high school, sometimes you're just outmatched, and I don't like seeing some scores like 75-0. At the
Right.
college game, these are scholarship players.
Right.
They're getting paid to be here. It doesn't matter even if it's a Kent State versus an Ohio State. These guys know how to play. You
Right.
better be able to line up and try to stop it.
It's the same thing in baseball, dude. All these unwritten rules about what you're
yes.
not supposed to do. It's like, whatever, man. That's so weak.
True.
All right. Well, let's move on now. Let's talk about the beautiful game, all right? Let's get in touch with something a little bit more satisfying. And you got to talk to one of the most legendary coaches in the entire state of Ohio the other night.
Yeah, head coach Larry Atkinson, after Ontario's 3-1 victory over a good Liberty Benton squad, the Lady Warriors 11-1, ranked 5th in Division II, and I had a chance to catch up with Coach Atkinson after the match. Joined now by Ontario Lady Warrior head coach Larry Atkinson. Coach, 11-1 on the season so far. You have a young squad as well. Just what has worked right for you guys this year?
Well, I just think everybody works so hard in practice. They get along so well, and they come out in a game. They're ready to play, and I think they play for each other. It's a good team oriented. They're not afraid to get each other involved and help each other, and I think that's the biggest thing is they've just gelled very well for being a very young team.
and some of the leaders so far are freshmen on his squad. Just how nice is it to have some really sensational freshmen out there leading your squad?
Well, it's, they lead on the offensive end, but, I think the person that leads most of all is Addie Turnbull. She's, the senior that plays out there, other than Taylor Mullins, who we just got back this week and got her some minutes here in the second half. But Addie Turnbull has really, really been a big leader, and the young freshmen look up to her and they listen to her. So I think that's been the biggest thing, is she's did a great job of keeping them positive and keeping them working hard.
Only one loss on the year. You're rated 5th in Division II. But as always, there's things you need to work on before the tournament comes. You only have a couple matches left in the regular season. What would you like to work on these last few matches before you get into the tournament?
Just get a little bit better on possession and understanding time and score. A lot of kids, we didn't mark. We're not marking as well as what we need to mark, and we've discussed in practice. So I think that's the biggest thing we have to work on, is defensively marking a little bit better. We're giving a little bit too much room, and we have people that don't, that are just not communicating, who should have who. So that's something we can work on, something that will get better. But, very happy with a 3-1 win tonight. They had a great, corner kick that the big, tall girl scored on. So we're fortunate that we get away with a 3-1 win against them, because that's a quality team.
And finally, you always play a tough non-conference schedule to go along with your MOAC schedule. With these younger players that really haven't, experienced a big game atmosphere, especially what they will probably experience when you get the tournament time, just what does this non-conference schedule do to help them?
Well, Liberty Benton is somebody that's been in the state finals, I think three out of the last 4 years in Division III. They just moved up to Division II. So that's a quality opponent that we like to play, and we try to spread those out over the year to where, we don't get bombarded with some very solid, great teams out of Division I back-to-back. So, we use that as just a learning tool for them, just to be competitive. We just want to be competitive in the big games.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
A little bit, actually, the Lady Warriors have a chance of clinching at least a share of the MOAC as they head to Harding, and then they have Medina, Shelby, Madison, and Chagrin Falls to finish it out. But this Lady Warrior squad, they have a chance of doing something special this year, Brian.
No question about it. And speaking of special things on the soccer pitch, we got a brand new segment that we rolled out a couple of weeks ago with Jesse Ryder called the Soccer Locker. It's getting a lot of great reviews, and here is Jesse. He's got a brand new thing that we just rolled out this last week, too. The goal of the week. 3 nominees were put up this past week, including Noel Bear right here. Big shot and a score for Mansfield Christian. We also had Depperschmidt here for Lexington, putting one away against Ottawa Hills. And then Taylor Tucker with a header against Anthony Wayne. So we take all your votes from the Facebook and the YouTube, we shake them all up, and we determine a winner. And it's actually this play right here. It is Madison's Taylor Tucker with the sick header in the 17th minute against Anthony Wayne. So big shout out to the Lady Rams and their faithful for coming through with the vote for Taylor. And it's always impressive anytime you can line up a set piece with a header in the back. It's big time. Oh, you look like you had something to say, Travis. I was backing away.
I was just looking at you.
Just looking at me?
Aw.
Beautiful.
Very cute.
You lead, bud. I'm just
Hey, Jesse.
Yeah, so make sure that you tune in. We're going to do that bi-weekly. Probably once we get into playoffs, though, so we won't have one this week, but then next week Jesse will have his regular season wrap-up, and then during the postseason, we'll do it every week because he's awesome.
Spider back there is just freaky.
Yeah, it's spooky time here in the States, of course, and now it's Storm Blunchley time.
It's always Storm Blunchley time. So, I normally do my schedule, but we're going to fire a little off the cuff here. So if we just want to roll my... I just wanted to ask you guys what your guys' favorite Squishmallows are. I have some of mine up here on the screen right now. These are ones that I own and have collected over the last couple months to a year. So I just want to know if you guys even know what a Squishmallow is, or if you have some...
The cheeseburger ones.
If you have some favorite ones. Yeah, you like the cheeseburger. I have that one, not pictured as the cheeseburger one. There's the Devil Dog.
Yeah, he's
like
pretty neat.
Like the Devil Dog game. They should play for a big trophy of that.
They should just a big Squishmallow handed out at the end.
Yeah, so I thought that was funny. But I was just wondering if you guys, had one or even ever heard of them.
I live in a household with 2 young children. There are at least 40 Squishymallows in my house, and I personally am gifted 1 or 2 every night by my son Michael, who is 7. He will pick the one that get to accommodate me at nighttime. So I sleep with a Squishymallow almost every single night. So I'm well aware of them. My personal favorite in our house, his name is just Doge, or Baby Lion, are probably my top 2. They're the most snuggly ones. We have a big dragon one, but it's 5 times the size of a normal size one.
Yeah, the big one.
I can't do the big one. It's too much for me.
Can we play it one more time? Damn, he sits above my desk and watches. So.
He looks very satisfied with whatever he's doing.
Right next to your business cards
he's,
right there.
he's always proud of me, so he's always happy that I'm working. There's a little Cam right there. But Travis, what about you? Do you have any
Are
Squishmallows?
those porgs?
Those are Squishmallows.
Okay, well, I mean, it looks like a porg from Star Wars.
Oh,
too.
no.
Star Wars porg,
It's a narwhal and a jellyfish.
Oh, very nice narwhals, yeah.
They're really
I've seen the ones that are at the Skoronsky household. Now that I've seen yours, but I saw a picture that G showed earlier. The Big Mac,
The cheeseburger one.
the cheeseburger
It's my
one. I
favorite
think
one,
that would be
Travis.
mine. Yeah, that looks like it's like what, a stress ball type thing. It just calms you, doesn't it?
Yeah. You just you hold them, cuddle them, whatever you want, really. And squish them. They're Squishmallows. So, yeah, I just wanted to know if you guys had a favorite. So, and then my other topic tonight was, the NBA, like we alluded to earlier, right around the corner. So, The Athletic has their power rankings out, their preseason ones out, and I just was curious as we take a look at some Pistons.
Yeah.
If you guys, I was just curious about what you guys kind of thought of your placing. So, for you Cavs fans, you're 17th, which I thought was a little low, honestly, with
Especially
who you
after
added.
the trade, right?
Yeah, with who you added. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts about, what you guys thought.
I'd like to see who's ahead of us, like in that 10 to 16 range, to see if I feel like we should leapfrog any. I don't think they're a top 10 preseason pick yet. Might be able to play themselves in.
Well, you're right. You're 1 spot above the Lakers, then
Fair.
1 spot below the Nets. So, and then New Orleans, Minnesota, and then, G-Man, Chicago Bulls. But you guys are under the subcategory of play-in teams. So I thought that was a little unfair. I think you're like right at that fifth, sixth seed, like right above that. But Garrett, you guys, with all the Lonzo drama that's been going on, he can't even walk right now, and you guys are still, 5th, 6th range.
Balls in a boot? Or what's up?
Yeah, he had to get another knee surgery a couple days ago. Actually, that's a bit dicey. When he was out, our defense was completely different. So I would put the Cavs above us personally, but I do like the signing of Goran Dragic. I'm interested to see what he does when he fills in for Lonzo Ball. I like Andre Drummond too. We needed a kind of a paint beast rebounder down there, and we got him. I'm going to say he's one of the best rebounders of all time. I know Storm will like that take.
Oh,
but,
for sure.
I don't know. I'm curious to see what the Bulls do without Lonzo up there, but, they got Ayo Dosunmu, who's going to be the rookie last year. He's going to take over the starting point guard roles, but surprised the Lakers that low. I'm not surprised, but, just still, it's just weird seeing the LeBron team, not be favored.
I know. Well, they did add Patrick. I mean, they added key pieces. They just didn't add another star.
Right.
And what is Darvin Ham going to do with Russell Westbrook? Skip calls for him to just sit at the end of the bench.
Russell Westbrook.
But we don't know about that. And then my Pistons, man, 25th. We're
Hey.
bottom tier. We're right above. We already know you're tanking. So we're like the last of the play-in teams, which I thought was weird. We had a really solid draft. We got Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren. And we added Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks, and what's his name? Kevin Knox. So 25th, I mean, we're below the Kings somehow and the Jazz and Charlotte. So I don't know. I thought that was – there are a lot of people who are really low on the Pistons this year. Don't get me wrong. We're not a first-seed team. We're not a top-3 team at all. But it's really not making the play-in tournament? I don't know.
Where's the Seattle Supersonics? That's how much I know about the NBA right there.
100.
Where are they at? Okay.
They're with the chicken, Mac. But that's all I got.
Cavs will be a top 10 team by the end of the year. They're so deep on paper.
If Donovan Mitchell, if he can fit in and flow and not ball hog, because it's Rudy Gobert, yeah, but this is his first time where he's going to play with another offensive superstar in Darius Garland.
Another good guard, at least.
Yeah, so it'll if he fits in, it'll be really good. But I guess that's the question mark, is if he will.
Time will tell. We'll see what he has to say when they start interviewing him. And you guys know where I'm going with this. We talk to kids all the time. Some great athletes here in our own backyard and even beyond when some others come in and challenge our teams. So let's go ahead and dive into this week's segment, Talk of the Town.
They were just driving it. I'm telling everybody we gotta start being playmakers. So they keep driving. We get to that. We get into the red zone. They getting plays and plays, but we're stopping it. And then the sack come. I hear Adams tell me go Thornton, and I just went.
Pretty much all I was going through my mind was I got to run the ball hard, keep the ball tucked. That fumble in the second quarter could have hurt us really bad, but my offensive line stepped up, started playing ball like they know how to play ball.
Dude, a total effort by you, and it seemed like you got stronger as the game went along. Talk to me about that in the second half. I mean, you were pulling kids with you for yards and yards and yards. Are you one of those guys that, as the night progresses, you just feel like you got a little bit more juice?
Yeah, I do. And it didn't only start with me. It started with our linemen up front as the game went on. They were blocking harder and harder each time. And I felt like as the game went on, we were running Lucas. We were running them down there. They were getting tired, but we were just getting started. So we just kept it going through the whole game.
I feel like just bonding as a team and just being there for each other, because we all get down, but we pick each other up at the end. So that's all we need to work on.
I think that we just need to keep working as a team, like always being energetic and just always like working together and just being scrappy and being like working like super hard in practices all the time, being very coachable and just, I don't know, just keep working hard so that we're ready for our big matches coming up.
I've been very blessed with my coaches in the past and my setters. So my setters and my passers' hard work is just a reflection of my achievement. So I wouldn't have had this without them.
And finally, you know, we read this in a Jake Furr article. Have you gotten many track athletes to want to go out for softball so you can play or vice versa so you can play softball yet?
I'm working on it.
Manned up on me, and we just ran money switch. I think all three of my touchdowns, they didn't switch, and they just like followed me. Our outside receiver ran in and then hit him some, and then got me a lead and got me a gap.
You guys only have one loss on the year so far. Just what has worked so far this year for you guys?
Really just keeping the positive vibes, staying as a team, staying nice to each other, and just playing well, winning, having a good attitude towards each other.
Like I said, we're just going to focus on the next game up and make sure we're doing everything right in practice and, just practice hard.
The goal, we want to be at the top for state. We got second last year, and I think our guys this year are working together really well, and I think we have, I think if we have all our pieces together and we can do this right, we can be really competitive at state.
I like these conditions a lot better because in weather like hot and humid, it just tires me out more, and so I enjoy this because I just felt more energized.
Yeah, this temperature's great. The rain at the beginning wasn't ideal, but we both played soccer for a long time. It's nothing we're not used to in Ohio.
It starts with the line, and you have to have the stamina to run this offense. Just running it down the throat every play. And we definitely are in condition to where we can do that all 4 quarters.
This season started off pretty rough, but as this season has developed, we found our way and started scoring more and just practicing on the technical stuff, especially up top. And looking forward for the rest of our season, we want to go as far as possible in the tournament, really just push like how we did in 2019 and just try to find that success.
I think energy is a big thing for our team. If we have the high energy, it's just amazing. We just do so good based off our energy.
Just like one time, I'm here and I'm gone, then the backfield. That's how I work on a practice, is being quick in my moves, especially the quick moves. I like to be quick.
Just talk me through how it feels to lose to Colonel Crawford in 5 sets the first time you played him. You come back now, you sweep him on your home floor. Just tell me about it.
When we first played him, we had a pretty bad game. We didn't play very well. A lot of us were off that night. But coming into this game, we were super excited. We really practiced hard for this, and we worked really hard. And it was just
a great feeling to win in 3. And that was the best. That was fun.
Those passes that you caught were not easy catches to haul in.
Yeah, that one on the switch, I don't even remember watching it go into my hands. I mean, I just laid out and hoped that I caught it.
What are some of the expectations for you guys? You know, when you look at the beginning of the season, what did you kind of set as some of the goals of, hey, you know what, we're looking for a conference championship or a sectional champion or district? What did you guys talk about? What were some of the highlights that you want to kind of accomplish this year?
We were definitely looking at an OCC title, but we don't know if we can get that anymore. So now we've moved on to like more of the sectional and district. So we're looking more at that.
How are you feeling for the rest of your guys' season?
I'm feeling good. Just came out big win, so we just got to keep working, keep getting better, and just keep rolling.
The talk of the town, which is you, the athletes of North Central Ohio and beyond. One of the coolest segments that we got going on right here on the OH Report. Love hearing from all those kids. And most of them are really well spoken. I did not do that good on interviews when I got my opportunities with newspaper and radio back in the day. So kudos
Doesn't
to
show.
a lot of those athletes.
Doesn't show.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, G-Man. It's your 5 minutes, bro. What you got for us?
Well, of course, yesterday I spent my day, watching some football. One of my favorite days of the week, of course. Let's just get right into it. I just want to ask you guys a couple of things. I know we're all pretty much big football fans. Storm on the other side of that fence, but I can guide them through this.
Okay.
So I just want to ask you guys, this year's a little bit different. We're not used to, Tom Brady. They're not having a great season so far here early. Aaron Rodgers, and they're getting it going, but they haven't really beat anybody either. So I just want to ask you guys, who in your guys' I guess, who's the best team right now in the NFL? In your guys' opinion? We'll start with you, Brian.
Well, the record would indicate that it's that
Right.
guy's team right there, 4-0. I think Buffalo's got the best-looking roster on paper if they can stay healthy. So those would be my upper echelon top-tier teams. For sure, if I was only allowed to pick one that I think is going to really do well, it's probably that guy's team right there, because in Patty Mahomes, I trust. He's been to the AFC Championship game every single year that he's been in the league. I don't think this year is going to be any exception, unless the Browns can get real lucky, get things hot late, and then knock them off. But if that doesn't happen, I would go with Patrick Mahomes, who I trust in the most. But the best team, I think, is Buffalo.
Trev?
Yep, I agree completely with him with the Buffalo Bills, especially how they went to the Ravens and pulled off that victory. What were the Ravens thinking going for it on fourth down? I don't know. That was
I saw that debated this morning.
Yeah, that was a bad
I see
idea.
I see both sides of the argument, though. I understand. If they get it, then they're praised. I just hate how much criticism comes when you don't pull it off.
Yeah, that's how it's always going to go. But I think it's going to be a rematch. Bills, KC for the AFC Championship are the two best.
Agreed.
Agreed.
The Minnesota Vikings.
Yes, good pick, Storm.
In all seriousness, legit. They're a good team. They have some potential, I think. Obviously, the obvious ones, the Bills, the Chiefs. So is this who I think is the best on paper, or who do I think is going to win the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Who do I think is going to win the Super Bowl? The Bills. But I think the Rams still have a shot for it. I can never bet against Matthew Stafford. He's done so much for Detroit. It's so hard for me to bet against him. So the Rams, the Bills, the Vikings, or you know what? I'm going to go with Tom Brady's Bucks too. I got him in there.
They'll get it
as the
together
Chiefs.
eventually.
I think your Vikings will at least make it to a divisional. Maybe a
Right.
backdoor NFC Championship appearance, but Kirk Cousins, lead him to the promised land, my friend.
No, I'm not choosing the Vikings, okay? I'm going to put my bias aside. So I think there's like three categories that I would go based on. Like QB, it's obviously a QB's league, so I think Mahomes is the best. So I think the Chiefs are always going to have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl as long as he's on the roster. Philly, I think that they're the most complete team, top to bottom. The only thing I don't trust Jalen Hurts. He's played good, against some okay teams. I mean, our defense is garbage. I'll be the first to admit that. They beat the Commanders, too. They played the Jaguars, where he looked a little sloppy to start, but the defense was kind of able to back him up and force 5 turnovers. So, and then, of course, the Bills. I think that they still got, some momentum from last year. They want some revenge, but I think it's between, right now, Chiefs, Philly, and Buffalo right now, because Aaron Rodgers doesn't look very good. We beat them. The Bucs don't look very good, but they're banged up, too. They'll get there, of course, with a GOAT.
No love for the Dolphins at all from anyone.
No.
Two is
I
out
don't-
next
their
week.
quarterback's
That's
out.
just-
I don't. We play them, so
But
we'll
they
see.
are exciting.
They are. We'll move on to my second segment where there's a movie coming out here in a couple weeks where me and Storm talked about this a little bit on Saturday night. Halloween, it's Spooktober. And now I'm not a big avid movie watcher, but Halloween Ends comes out October 14th. And now I got into Halloween just a couple years ago. I'm not going to lie to you. I was kind of scared of scary movies. But I fell in love with the last movie, and I don't really know why. I just want to ask you guys, put me on some Halloween movies that I have to be able to see before I go see Halloween Ends. Because I believe it's the last Halloween they're making with Michael Myers. So after this,
so they say.
That's what they say, that's what they say.
He can't be killed. He's like Jason Voorhees. They just keep coming back over and over and over again. So the best Halloween movies, I think that the Halloween series is the best. There's a couple of spin-offs and reboots. The Rob Zombie ones are very terrifying. Is that the ones that you saw?
No, I just seen the last one, like the updated version. Nobody else likes it,
So they brought
but
back
me.
The original characters and stuff like that. So you're going to want to watch the first two.
OG ones.
The OG
Watch
ones.
the
You're going to have to
original
watch
with Jamie Lee
the
Curtis,
original
for
with
sure.
Jamie Lee Curtis, and then the second one, it's kind of goes after, like an hour after the ending of the first one. Those are the first two, and then I think H2O, Jamie Lee Curtis is in that as well.
That one's okay.
You have to watch that one. It's all right. And then the one you just watched before going into this one. Those are the ones with Jamie Lee Curtis. Those are the ones that keep that storyline. Because I don't know if this last one's going to continue, flashbacks or whatever. But those are the ones that you're going to want to watch.
I know a part 2 just dropped of Hocus Pocus. And
Yes,
when
that's-
I was growing up,
that's scary.
That's a good
Hocus
one.
Pocus
It was
is
on
not
Disney.
scary.
It's on
a
Disney
fun
Channel,
Disney
man.
movie.
Oh, I thought you were being serious. I don't know.
No, it's good. It's good storyline.
It's comedy.
It's funny.
Yeah.
You should check that one out.
And then I kind of have a question that ties into my last one. That's why the candy was on the screen. We don't trick or treat often. At least
Kit
that
Kat.
not that I don't know.
Kit Kat.
If you guys do or not. What's the favorite,
Kit
the
Kat.
best Halloween candy to receive?
Reese's.
Reese's?
Duh.
The pieces, the peanut butter
Not a
cups.
chocolate guy.
Reese's Pieces are so good.
Yes, they are. Kit Kats are
No.
good.
I'm not a Reese's guy. I hate chocolate.
Snickers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
what
I
are
know.
you like Sweeties?
Yes. I'm
some
weird.
Starburst in
I'm
the
weird.
bag?
I want the Nerds rope, like the OG one that was like a foot long. That's what I want.
That's what you got to go to like
Those
the
are
rich
good.
houses
Do they
to get
make
that
them
stuff.
anymore?
Yeah.
I don't think they do.
I don't know about
No, they got some new.
Sweet Tarts makes the rope now.
Yes.
The
That's it.
original Nerds rope was like that little thin red piece of like licorice or whatever with the Nerds on it. I want that back.
Well, you know what I want, Storms? I want some viral videos.
I also want some viral videos.
So I'll start us off, Storm, since I just went. We'll go ahead and roll my clip. This was one that I found just maybe on my way here, actually. So, playing little VR, they just introduced this. I don't even know what the game is called, but
It's got to be football.
of course.
And, well, yep.
Like,
man, this would be me. This is why I won't do VR.
I can understand it too.
Scramble. Look at the scramble. Oh.
He got blindsided by Myles Garrett.
By the blinds. He got blindsided. Ouch.
Solid tackle though by the blinds.
Yeah.
Well done.
It cuts perfectly too.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect cut. Is it me? Am I the
You're
only
up,
one?
Storm. So it's just
I really
you.
don't remember what I picked, so let's just see it. Oh yeah, this guy getting sturdy with Goofy and Pluto and Minnie Mouse. I think this is so funny. Doing that's the Cleveland Gladiators dance.
Goofy's kind of stirred.
Goofy's sturdy, bro. I don't know
Oh, he
why
dropped his hat.
I don't know why I think this video is so funny, but it really just is a riot for me.
You want to talk about not caring? You said that you wouldn't dance it back
Yeah.
in the day. That boy right there, he don't give any cares in the world. He's just getting it, living life like nobody's
It's
watching.
the happiest place on earth. It's Disney World. I mean, why wouldn't you want to dance down there? But that might get you kicked out of Disney World if you go too far with
Yeah,
that.
we got to take that down. We're gonna get a cease and desist from the Disney Corporation.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, we got to get you guys off to some volleyball matches tonight. Let's show you what's coming up, though, this week on the OH.Report. I
That's
talked
a
about
lot.
the V-ball schedule. 2 live and free matches tonight. Trav, you're going to be at Northmore, and then we got the boys going to Centerburg.
Yeah, Lady Knights hosting rival Galleon in non-conference action. Galleon always a really good volleyball
No doubt.
squad. And then Centerburg, that's going to be a fun match. Those Lady Trojans this year have a chance of doing something in their district.
So excited, Trav.
Yeah.
Beyond belief. I can't wait to get down there.
Hey,
we got to hurry up,
We
though.
were looking.
Red Army,
we were literally,
Red Army will be there.
We
We're
were
looking
literally
directions.
looking at directions to Centerburg from here. So
All right, yeah, tomorrow we got some live and free soccer. We got Mapleton going toe-to-toe with Mansfield Christian. We got some fun highlights coming up. Medina versus Ontario. How about state ranked in D1? I think in the top 3, Medina. Ontario's in the top 5 in D2. That one's going to be legit. Ontario-Madison, always a great backyard rivalry. And then Granville, one of the top teams in the state, going to be coming over to the Corral. And football Friday night, jam-packed per usual. Mansfield Senior at home against Worcester. We've got Lucas trying to end a 3-game skid. Freddy's trying to stay in the K-Mac race. Northmore as well. Seneca East against Mohawk, who just suffered their first N10 loss. And then we'll have some highlights. Ashland and West Holmes. Galleon Highland. See if Dane Nyman can keep his crazy run going. Shelby, can they bounce back? I think they've lost 2 in a row. And then Danville versus the Berg, man. That's a huge one in the K-Mac.
That could determine the K-Mac championship. Have we ever had 9 highlights? Is this going to be the most action-packed Friday night pigskin ever?
Hey, it seems like every week we just keep saying it's the biggest and the most. So dial it up, baby. That's going to be the most. All right, that's going to do it for today's OH.Report video podcast. Appreciate y'all watching. But, hey, tune in just about an hour and a half, and we're going to have some live and free volleyball. See y'all there.